Remember Superman?
Oh my gosh.
He was unquestionably the league's best center for half a decade, the last non-offensive player who could drag a team within a breath of the title. He was a ferocious dunker that proved just because a player doesn't have post moves does not mean he can't burn you down low. He won 3 straight Defensive Player of the Year awards. No one's done that before or since. He was the most popular player in the league for a stretch, and then everyone forgot about him. What happened to Dwight Howard?
With the first pick in the 2004 NBA Draft, the Orlando Magic select Dwight Howard from Southwest Christian Academy.
Coming straight out of high school, Dwight was drafted by the Orlando Magic, a team that had just tried and failed to burst into relevancy with Trace McGrady and Grant Hill. Looking back, slam dunk pick, pun intended. But back then, we weren't so sure.
Some of the reaction in the house would be from Connecticut fans who are from just a couple of hours away. And as you would expect, first class of Mecca Okafor with a handshake there for Dwight Howard, who becomes the 3rd high school player taken #1 overall.
Dwight was picked over Emeka Okafor, who had just won a title with UConn a few months before. Okafor was a surefire star, and Dwight was a project. The Magic coach Johnny Davis believed that everyone thought Okafor was better simply because they had seen him more. But the truth is, picking high schoolers early had a tricky history. 2 players had been picked #1 right out of high school: Kwame Brown and LeBron James. Those 2 could not be further apart. Dwight proved the Magic right immediately, becoming the youngest player ever to average a double-double. Okafor won Rookie of the Year, but it was clear right away that Dwight was going to be special. The class as a whole proved that high school projects don't work, and the practice was banned after the following year. But Dwight was a revelation. In his 2nd season, he gained some grown man muscle and bumped up to the center position. His stats went from 12-10 his rookie year to 16-13 as a sophomore. And by his 4th season, he was a bona fide superstar. 21 points, 14 boards, 2.1 blocks on 60% shooting. That's the guy who eventually could only get a job in Taiwan. Insane. Dwight had ascended to the best center in the league, but was it by default? In the 90s, we had Hakeem, Ewing, Robinson, Mutombo, Shaq. By 2008, we had fat aging Shaq, breaking down Yao, washed up Ben Wallace, and the muscle-bound freak Dwight Howard. That made Dwight the all-caps next great center. Of course, he still had his limitations. His low-post game never matured, nor did he. He couldn't sink a free throw to save his life. He led the league in dumbest fouls at the dumbest time. Cat has had that award for the past 8 years, by the way. And he didn't know how to play within an offense. When he caught the ball, you could almost see him thinking. Drop step, jump, shoot. There was never any fluidity. But when he rose up to smash the ball in your favorite team's front court, none of that mattered. Dwight led the Magic to an NBA Finals in only his 5th year. If Wemby gets to the Finals by 2028, that's a win, right? So why do we forget about that 2009 Finals against Kobe? It was supposed to be Kobe versus LeBron, Lakers versus Cavs. Everyone wanted to see it, but Dwight, Stan Van Gundy, and the ragtag Magic ruined it by winning the Eastern Finals in 6 games versus the Cavs. LeBron averaged a ridiculous 39, 8, and 8. Again, 39 points, 8 assists, and 8 rebounds. But the Magic had their number. Throughout the entire season, the Magic would allow their best opposing star to go off, only keying in on the second guy. LeBron might have averaged 39 points, but Mo Williams shot 37%. Dwight anchored a powerful defense, but he stepped up when it mattered on both ends. In Game 6, he dropped 40 points and 14 boards in an all-time closeout game. They lost to the Lakers, but they were supposed to. Dwight had officially arrived. So what happened? After 2011, Dwight was sitting on his 3 straight Defensive Player of the Year awards, his 4 straight first-team All-NBAs, and his should-have-been 2011 MVP, according to some people. Don't get mad at us, Bulls fans. And then he started to shake up the snow globe. We loved Dwight because he was a big, goofy child. Remember that terrible Clark Kent commercial that we all loved?
Wow, you're really lucky Superman was so close by.
But there's a thing with class clowns. They're supposed to grow up. Dwight never did. His teammates got sick of mid-meeting farts. No, that's not a joke. He turned on Stan Van Gundy, and when he realized NBA fans hated him for it, he tried to backtrack. But the damage was done. So he did what all dominant big men do when they realize their number is up in their first NBA city.
Howard is heading west. The AP has learned the All-Star Center is being sent from the Orlando Magic to the Los Angeles Lakers as part of a 4-team swap. The complex trade also involves the Denver Nuggets and the Philadelphia 76ers.
The trade is absolutely insane looking back. It would take 20 minutes just to read the entire thing, but the gist was Dwight to the Lakers, Andrew Bynum to the Sixers, who was really good that year by the way, first-time All-Star Andre Iguodala to the Nuggets, and a bunch of scrubs to the Magic.
You know, well, I called Kobe. He said, "What's up, Dwight? You know, how you doing? You know?" And he would say, "Hey, man, yo, listen, yo. You know, LA is happy to have you. You know, you're part of the team now. You know, I'm happy for you, man. It's all over with. You know, I'm happy for you."
Looking back, the funny thing is that the Magic got Aaron Aflalo and Nikola Vucevic, while the three main stars of the trade were on new teams 12 months later. And yes, that includes Dwight Howard. The Lakers were supposed to be the latest super team in the post-decision NBA with Steve Nash, Kobe, Pau Gasol, and Superman. Little did we know, Nash was on his last legs, Pau was in a transition age, and Dwight was a fraud. The Lakers went from favorites to 8 seeds over the season and then got swept in the first round after Kobe tore his Achilles carrying the team late in the season. But the real story was the relationship between the ultra competitor Kobe and the gentle giant Dwight Howard. Kobe had basically pointed at Dwight and told the world he is the soft loser you all thought he was, because gentle giants don't win you titles. They just get you close enough to break your heart. Dwight ended up on the Rockets the following year, teamed up with the rising superstar James Harden. But still, the Kobe beef persisted.
About 5 of those tonight, the Lakers have not been able to get it. Kobe was defending and some words exchanged, and this goes back when the two were wearing the same uniform on the floor together.
People went from loving Dwight to hating Dwight to just not caring anymore. It's actually insane that his career was basically over after he was 28 years old. No more All-Star games, no more dunk contests, no more Superman. Like it had in LA, Dwight's tenure in Houston fizzled out because dudes got sick of him. The funny thing is that this is the era he should have dominated. The league spread out, the lane was open, and pick and roll pogo stick centers were all the rage. Dwight had been doing that for a decade. After all, Tyson Chandler still made money well into the 2010s. But because of his personality, he never found the right fit. He bounced from Atlanta to Charlotte to Washington in the 3 years after the Rockets debacle. Do you understand how annoying a guy's gotta be to not be a jerk and still have everyone hate you?
Started with the Magic. So I learned Magic for 8 years. Traveled to La La Land. Learned how to work with Rockets. And I went and learned how to fly with some Hawks. Got stung by the Hornets. But through all of that, you know, it's taught me how to be a wizard.
Were those fake laughs, or are NBA reporters that deprived of comedy?
So he has a sense of humor that's a bit off, and if he's making those kind of jokes,
I think he just annoys guys. I think he annoys guys, and I think eventually when he doesn't get touches.
Although honestly, it was a great fit.
Actually, it's a perfect fit, LZ. You want to know why? Why? Because Dwight is probably the most delusional player of his generation, going to one of the most delusional teams in the league.
So why did it change in 2020? Dwight finally decided to accept a lesser role on a great team when he returned to the Lakers for the 2019-20 season. Maybe it took playing with a guy like LeBron to finally change his mindset. Or maybe Kobe's death had some sort of mid-season impact on him. But Dwight was incredible on the bubble title team. In only 19 minutes a game, 7 points, 7 boards, tough D on Jokic, 73% shooting. That's what his team needed from him. Something he should have realized a decade sooner. The Taiwan jokes are great. He dominated in a league literally full of firemen and plumbers, and now he's basically relegated to an annoying social media presence. Seriously, he's like that guy who was a high schooler when you were 12, who you thought was super cool, but by the time you're a senior, he's still trying to hang out with you? Like, grow up, dude. Dwight never learned to grow up. Maybe it was the NBA's fault for letting high schoolers declare for the draft, leaving some of them, like Dwight, in arrested development. It's unbelievable that a guy could have a Hall of Fame career through the first 10 years of his career, then spend the next decade ruining his own legacy. But either way, don't let anyone convince you that Dwight wasn't a legit legend in his prime. Do you think Dwight is overrated, underrated, or properly rated? Let us know in the comments, then find out how good Shaq really was in Orlando next. Listen to the Wrong Opinion, Useless NBA Trivia, and Garbage Rankings for more NBA content.